Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 68 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on June 27th, 2021. All right, I'm definitely doing this out of order. I don't know if you noticed, but I literally just released a sound signature review on Sunday. So that's today for me, but yesterday for future me, and yesterday for future you who are listening to this on Monday. Yeah, so that's how that's working. I have a really packed week coming up, so I wanted to push that review out as soon as I could to you folks, and then I also wanted to do this episode for you as well. Super productive weekend. We're getting it done. Silencers on the brain, of course, and I will actually be taking one with me where I'm going this week, per usual. So, we'll talk about that in today's episode too. Silencers? Jay, are those even legal? Why, yes, friend. Yes, they are. You can actually get them super easily. Well, at the speed of government infringement, at least. And you can do that from Silencer Shop. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop, the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers, frankly. As a silencer consumer, Silencer Shop is not only my dealer of choice, but my infrastructure of choice. They've done a lot of cool stuff, like create an easy system that minimizes the likelihood of errors in your paperwork, and they pioneered the use of the QR code on the actual Form 4 so that the ATF can scan the code instead of inputting all of your data themselves. There's a reason they've grown. They continue to innovate. Silencer Shop has a network of nationwide dealers where silencers are legal. You use their kiosk, do your fingerprints, your photos electronically, everything, you know what I mean? Yeah, it cuts down on errors. It simplifies your silencer purchasing process. They got a money-back guarantee. It's great. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. It really is. I did write that ad. Does it sound like an ad? Yeah, because it's an ad, but I do mean it. I mean, I wrote it. It's true. Everything I tell you is true, unless it's not. No, it is. But secondly, and most importantly, this podcast is sponsored by PEW Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Visit PEWScience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and most accurate hearing-safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. It's based on pure, true, wonderful human sound perception. No, but really, the suppression rate is in Section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard. The standard walks you through gunshot noise, sort of like Wikipedia, but cooler because it's about silencer sound. There are 7 parts. They're all on PEWScience.com for you to read. If you haven't seen the Silencer Sound Standard, that's okay. I forgive you. You can skip directly to the suppression rating in Section 5 if you like. It lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear. And it gives you a hearing-safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which the silencers are tested, directly tied to human perception. If the rating is higher, it sounds better. If it's lower, it'll probably sound louder to you. It might sound a little more harsh or not pleasing. Those are subjective terms that are tied to the quantitative rating you see on the website. Correlates with the 95th percentile human ear. Chances are it'll work for you. Probably. But really, that's all there is to it. You're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world. How can I say that? It's because I looked for it, and that's why I had to do this. There was no other way. The 6th section of the standard contains all the reviews. It's really in-depth. You can go check them out at PEWScience.com. And you know what? If they're too in-depth for you and you don't want to read through all of them, it's okay. There's a PEW Science ranking section in Section 7. That has a simple database tool. It's a table there. You can sort and click and different things you want to see, different ammunition types, things like that, different weapons, different silencers. And you can sort all the publicly released tests out of there, and there's links to the individual reviews in the database, so you can, if you see something you like, you just click on it, then that'll take you to the detailed review. You know what I'm saying? So as always, I do need to tell you, if you are a manufacturer of silencers and you would like to use PEW Science for private testing or consulting services, for example, for your R&D internally, there is a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry to us. Your contact information and all the test data that we generate as a part of an effort to you will be held in strict confidence, unless, of course, you want to release it to the public. In which case, I can certainly help you do that. I can write an article for the website and showcase and show off the data for your silencer. Let folks know how it performs. That we can do that. It's no problem. I've done that a couple times. Some of our clients like that. You can support this podcast if you like, and PEW Science and our testing by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. You can do that as a consumer, you can do that as a dealer, or you can do that as a manufacturer. It does help. It keeps the research going. This is Grassroots. Now, I understand not everyone can join or wants to join, and that's totally fine. You can do things that are free too. You can give the podcast a good rating on your podcast provider. You can spread the word. Let people know about PEW Science and what I'm doing here for you. And the goal here is to normalize the use of suppressed small arms. The more people that understand how suppressed small arms behave, the more people will be comfortable with their use. As use becomes normalized, commonality becomes normalized as well. I mean, to the point where you'll have a silencer in every gun, and a gun in every car and home. That's my vision for the future. I got 4 topics for you today. It's Sunday. Happy Sunday. 4 topics. Topic 1, new review released early. Sound signature review 646, the Surefire SOCOM762-RC2 on Subsonic 300 blackout. Oh my God, that's crazy. We're closing knowledge gaps, folks. That's what we're doing. It's getting interesting, isn't it though? Topic 2, listener questions. That's right, they're back. We've had a break. Time to dive back into your queries. So we'll get into some of those. That's one of my favorite things to do. Topic 3, some simple gear for field work down south. Is it always needed? No, but sometimes yes. I did want to show you the gun I usually bring with me, and you've seen it before, but I just want to talk more about it. I just like it, and sometimes you just got to show a picture of a gun that you like. And do I do that a lot? Absolutely. Topic 4. Welcome to all the new PEW Science members and clients. Grassroots support is building, but so is professional clientele, which is actually very good. This represents true industry advancement. Okay? Industry advancement is on the right track, and that's a good, how would you say this? KPI, key performance indicator. I'm just messing with you, but it is. Okay, topic 1. I'm going to write this down here. Topic 1 at a time of 7 minutes. And, you know what? I was too slow on the draw. Topic 1 at a time of 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Okay. New review released early. Sound signature review 646. The Surefire SOCOM762-RC2 on Subsonic 300 blackout. Like I said, we're closing some knowledge gaps, and it's getting interesting. It is getting interesting. And, frankly, I don't know how, or I didn't know how this release was going to go. I guess as you listen to this, the data will already be online, but you didn't even know it was coming because I didn't even, I'm doing this podcast after I released it, which is weird because I usually do a podcast telling you a review's coming. But due to the way I wanted to do this, this Sunday, well, it just felt like it fell. And those of you who are signed up for the newsletter at pewscience.com got the announcement immediately. I mean, as soon as I released a review, I put a newsletter out. Same with you folks that follow the J Situation and PEW Science LLC on Instagram, the Instagram accounts. Those are the 2 Instagram accounts I use, and then also the Facebook accounts. Like, I announce everything all at once. Like, so when a review comes out, you get an email. It goes out to every member of PEW Science and all the public folks that have signed up for the newsletter on the website. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a newsletter. And the only thing that comes with that newsletter is announcements from PEW Science. So you get that. You get posts on social media, 2 Instagram accounts and 2 Facebook accounts. So that's how I distribute distribute the announcement to you so you understand that there's more data. And also, of course, I'll go to like, places online that enthusiasts congregate. For example, Reddit. We'll go to go to the NFA subreddit, which is a great place. Shout out, powerful NFA subreddit. Shout out to you folks. You guys are awesome. I'll go. I'll post on Silencer Talk. I have a thread on Silencer Talk just in the name of, I guess, just for completeness. Silencer Talk is actually such an important website. It's almost defunct, but it still exists. It's so important that, or at least it was to me, that I feel that posting there is important. And I do that just for completeness. And I know Robert Silvers is still out there, and I post to his website, and I hope he sees it. I think he does. I don't think he cares as much about it, but regardless, I want him to know that I know that his website still exists, and I want the people who still frequent it to see the data. So I post there, and then I've been posting to ARFCOM recently just because it's a little more friendly there now. It used to be so hostile, but now it's a little more friendly. So I feel like I can post there. There's still some trolls, but for the most part it works. And there's people there now that PEW Science has spread and like the data efficacy is known. It makes sense to post there because there's a lot of science enthusiasts on that website that use PEW Science data. So now when I post, like, they can actually tell people, hey, like, this is actually real. This guy's doing something for us. And it's good because there's a lot of new people all the time that go to these communities, and they need to know that there's good data, frankly. You know what I mean? So it's really great that there are communities that allow people to discuss data. I mean, that's how, I'm a firm believer in the enthusiast community for firearms. When I was learning about firearms, there were some communities like that, some better than others, and I was able to learn a lot from some folks. And I feel like there are people that know nothing about firearms, and now that the internet is accessible to everybody nowadays, it's really great for people to be able to search, just like you're like old school library search, and be able to learn. So I'll never shy away from the enthusiast community ever. It's where my roots are, and that's why I want to give back, and that's why I always post the data on the internet and the announcements on the internet. Okay, some people see it as marketing, and I guess it is, because it is a spread of information and a brand, but more so, the first principles, the basic principles of my posting is to help people and spread the word and give back to the community. And that's the difference between PEW Science and a lot of these other things you see. And I don't even have to prove that to you. I've already proven it just by you hearing me talk on these podcasts, I think. So I hope that helps, and I hope that explains to you all the different places where you can consume the data, or at least consume the announcements, and then discuss it with like-minded individuals, because I do feel like having communities in which discussion can take place is important. So that's another reason I do it, because I want discourse. I want people to throw stones. I want them to discuss. I want them to talk about it, and it works, and it helps. It does help. Anytime people are learning something new, bouncing it off other like-minded individuals is really cool. You sharing experiences, you're sharing opinions. That's good. You don't want echo chambers. You want varied audience. So you get to as many people as possible. You know what I mean, Joe Bean? Yeah. Yeah, man. I would say, so in summary, because I know this is a weird thing, I announced it on Sunday. If all else fails and you don't go to any of those places, just sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll get an email. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I know some people don't use social media, which is understandable. Social media is really horrible sometimes. Now, on today's episode, I'm not going to go super in depth with the review, because I find it's better to do that type of podcast after you folks have had a chance to sit down and check out the data. I do. I think it's better to get feedback from the community, for me, to distill it, understand what you guys are seeing and thinking. And also, I want it to sink in with you guys for a bit, so that when you hear me talk about it, you can be more familiar with it going in. Does that make sense? So, I think that leads to better understanding in general, really. Now, that's not the case for all of you. I know some of you don't even read them. Some of you don't even read the reviews, and that's totally fine. Like, I don't expect all of you to. Some of you, frankly, you just wait for me to speak about them on the podcast. Like, I know that. I've gotten that feedback, which is fine. This is just another method of information distribution. I know some folks learn much better when they hear stuff instead of read stuff. I totally understand that. Everyone learns differently. The goal for this is for the information to get out to people and for people to understand it. Okay, so whatever way works for you is awesome. I'm not going to deride you or criticize you for having a preferred method of information distribution. Like that would be weird, right? So, okay. So that being said, I released this data like this today for a couple of reasons. First reason, the silencer is super popular. Okay, this is the Surefire SOCOM762-RC2. Super popular silencer, super widely proliferated. I get a lot of questions about it, a lot. You've already seen 2 test reports on it, actually, because back in Sound Signature Review 626 last year, many moons ago, I gave you Supersonic 308 data with the 3-prong flash hider and the work comp mount. Okay, that combined review actually is one of the most referenced PEW Science reviews on my website. The proliferation of that data, that report has been everywhere. I mean, people reference that everywhere. The war comp is a terrible choice for a silencer mount, full stop. Okay, check out the review to understand why. Spoiler alert, the mount ports are right near the seal interface, which doesn't seal anyway, and it blows blast pressure into your face. No, it's not a quiet day for you when you use a war comp on a 308 Surefire silencer. It's just not a quiet day for you. And we discovered that back in Sound Signature Review 626, okay? So it's a popular silencer. I had to further characterize it. I had to. I get so many questions. Now, that brings me to the second reason I released this data. We need to start closing knowledge gaps when it comes to supersonic and subsonic suppression. We need to. You just saw a huge knowledge gap close last episode, right? And last review when I discussed the OSS HXQD762, remember? If you haven't read that review or listen to the previous podcast episode, I highly encourage you to do so because the amount of important data presented is significant. It is. I don't think people are realizing it quite yet. I mean, some people are, like you enthusiasts are, but I don't think the industry at large is really grasping it. I spoke with a silencer designer of a major company recently, right? And a major company. And he was unaware of the phenomenon presented in which the 300 blackout sound pressure was way higher than the 308 sound pressure, but the sound was similar. Like, he was like, what? Really? I'm like, dude, I told you guys. Like, I told you it's scary how much the industry does not understand the products. Like, it's not just you. It's the people making them. And it's terrifying, okay? But we're going to change that. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but I'm telling you, that's how important this is. The people making the silencers aren't getting it. Like that's not true. That's not fair. They're getting it, but a lot of people, it's brand new. So like, this is literally cutting edge. This is cutting edge science for the industry. It's not cutting edge science for the world, but it's never, the gun industry is way behind. You feel me? So we're doing it. We're baby steps. I'm indoctrinating you slowly. Okay. It's like, I don't want to scare you. It's a frog in the pot of water. Okay. I'm cranking that temperature up slowly. We're pretty warm right now in the water. Frog hasn't jumped out quite yet. Some frogs are dead, but most of them are still in here and they're okay. They're going to continue to be okay. We're not going to kill the frogs. That's okay. Some are going to die. There's going to be collateral damage, but frankly, you got to kill some frogs to make a silencer sound standard. Okay. That's how that analogy goes, right? So those are the two reasons I just released the data: popularity, proliferation of the silencer, and knowledge gaps. Okay, that's why you get this review. I feel it's an important review for the industry. It's important data, and frankly, it's important. It is important given what you just saw with the OSS review And this is actually all I'm going to speak about right now. So just go read it. We're going to talk about it in depth in the next episode. The bottom line that you need to know about the Surefire SOCOM762-RC2 is that it's about as quiet as the OSS in Supersonic and quieter on Subsonic. Okay? It has really low back pressure for its supersonic suppression, and due to the way it suppresses, it actually has decent subsonic suppression performance, but it's not really intended for that. It's not, okay? So it's a pretty balanced silencer, though, all things considered. For subsonic use only, for 300 blackout, you do need to look at the Surefire SOCOM 300 SPS. If you're a Surefire fan, like that would be a more appropriate silencer. And that's the topic for the future. Actually, I have tested that silencer, but that was last year on 308 with the war comp, and we all know how that went with RC2. So you can imagine what happened with the SPS. Yeah, it's a loud day for Jay. Blast pressure in his face, in the face. So yeah, like I said, go check out the review, Sound Signature Review 646, the Surefire SOCOM762-RC2 on Subsonic 300 blackout out of an 8-inch barrel discrete ballistics ammo from a mini fix. How about them apples? Yeah, go check it out. It's on the website. Broham. Yeah. Once you're all ready and you're marinated in that sweet, sweet data, we'll talk about it on the next episode. How does that sound? Yeah. That's what we'll do. Okay. All right. Topic two at a time of 21 minutes and 41 seconds. Okay. Oh, man. Listener questions. Let's get back into them. Oh, man. On a Sunday, no less. We've had a break. We're going to dive back into your queries. Let's get back into our spreadsheet. It's been a minute. I love doing these. I do. Let's see. Spreadsheet. Yeah. Get a drink of water. Okay. Where did we leave off? Excuse me. Where did we leave off? We left off on, well, the last question I answered. I forgot what episode it was, but the last question I answered was question 95, sub-question 24. That is, the sub-question is because this is like the second solicitation of questions. So that question was, a later gentleman asked, which other optimized silencer host weapons do you plan to test, AR platform or other? And I went on to discuss that it was a great question. I was talking about I really want to go into the MP5, the CMMG rotating delayed blowback systems. I want to know that 22 pistols, 300 blackout subsonic, semi-auto stuff. So you can hear me talk about more about that on the previous episode in which I had questions. You know what? Let me pull up the website. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm going to go to the website. I'm going to go to the podcast. When you go to pewscience.com and you go to the podcast, like pewscience.com/podcast, all the episode show notes are there, like episode by episode. So if I scroll down, I bet you I can find where I did listener questions last. Actually, I'm going to do Control F. I'm going to say questions. Oh, episode 65. Okay, so that was on, it says June 2nd. So at the beginning of this month, that was 1, 2, 3. That was, okay, so 3 episodes ago, I did the questions with you there. So that was easy. Okay, I'm going to close that. Yeah. So then if you go back to that episode, if you, from June 2nd, if you want to see the answer to that question. Okay, so let's do the next question. Question 96, sub-question 25. What's the one thing you want to measure or quantify but can't yet? That's a good question, sir or ma'am. Thank you. The one thing. Gosh. I can't. It's not that I can't. Well, I would say, I guess I can't because of the resource, the logistics. I would say flash is probably the primary thing. Accuracy is actually on my list too. But I know that there are people out there shooting silencers and demonstrating accuracy rather easily. Although actual accuracy testing is hard to do, demonstrating accuracy anecdotally is relatively easy to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay, here's a topical example from today. Today, Sunday, I saw Alabama Arsenal guys shoot the Hyperion, like out past like 2,000 yards or something. Like it was crazy. Like it was on their YouTube video. They, shout out powerful Alabama Arsenal. They have a YouTube channel. There's a nice guy runs that channel. He reached out to me like very early on when I had launched the Silencer Sound Standard because he noticed that the data was good and it was agreeing with like his experiences because he shoots a lot of silencers. And he talks, he references PEW Science data. So like today, he launched this video on the Hyperion. I guess he likes to shoot it. He says it's like his quietest silencer that he shoots on the rifle, and then his one of his favorite silencers. And that's cool. I mean, it's a great silencer. So in the beginning of his video, he was like, hey, by the way, like PEW Science shows that it's super quiet. Like I'm not just talking on my butt, because he's basically using the data that I have published to justify his opinion that it's really quiet, which is cool, right? Because it's true. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So it's like, it's awesome. So like, I love that when like a guy that shoots a bunch of silencers he knows, dude, he knows. This guy shoots silencers. He knows what they sound like. He sees my data. He says, yep, that's what I think too, because I shoot them. What have I said about the suppression rating? It's the hardest thing to compute, but the easiest thing to verify. You can verify it yourself by shooting the silencers and the host weapons tested. Okay, this is why this is why folks that pretend that it doesn't work, they don't have. If you actually ask them what the reason is, they won't tell you, because they have an agenda. Do you see that? Like, there's a politician that like started whispering during a speech the other day. Like everyone was like, "What?" It's crazy. No. Anyway, back to what I was talking about with regard to accuracy. Alabama Arsenal, they shot the Hyperion at like 2,000 yards. I don't know what cartridge they were using. I totally forgot. I'm going to butcher it. Was it 300 PRC? I don't know what they shot. I don't know. Those dudes shoot way better than me. I don't know, but that's far. It doesn't matter. What matters is people are shooting certain silencers out to really far distances. And that's a good indicator of how accurate they can be, I think. Okay, so if you're interested in that type of thing, you have some resources for accuracy just because there's people that shoot them out far. If the silencer's not accurate, then no one's going to be shooting decent strings of shots at far distances. Why is that? Well, because there's dispersion and it's magnified over distance. So like if there's like precision shooters using a silencer, you can bet that they're probably good for accuracy. What silencers do we know so far? Well, we know Thunder Beast is pretty good. We know CGS is pretty good. We know that Q is pretty good. And I've talked about this at length. What's one characteristic of those three brands in their rifle silencers? What's one characteristic that we know of? Symmetrical blast baffle. Is that the only thing that makes a silencer accurate? Absolutely not. Does it help? It can. What other things are common with those silencers? Well, they all involve tapers with their mounting. The Thunder Beast ones have tapers on their brakes, but it's a little different. But the CGS and the Q, they'll interface directly with tapered barrels. They use that SIG taper, fam. So yeah, we've talked about this before. So that's the accuracy, and that's why I don't feel as bad not giving you accuracy data, because frankly, there are other places to get that. Is it going to be as technical and accurate as PEW Science sound data? Well, no. Is it going to be good enough for you? Yeah, it probably will, because most of you aren't shooting at 1,000 yards. Some of you do. So you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Now, Flash, getting back to your question, sir, man. Flash is different because it's extremely difficult to get good anecdotal data on Flash. Okay, and it's similar to sound data in that way. You have to have very controlled conditions, the proper equipment, and strict methodology. Okay, so this is something I'm interested in. It is, because I think night vision is going to be important for this. I think it is. I have personally noticed pretty big muzzle flash at night when hog hunting with a 16-inch AR-308 and the Rugged Razor or the Radiant, which is a different type of flash because it has titanium. The Rugged Surge is actually, just anecdotally from my experience, the Rugged Surge is not as bad as the Razor and the Radiant. That's just some quick anecdotal information for you. Does it matter if you aren't being shot at, or like if you aren't using night vision and you're just using thermal, like I use thermal. I don't really use night vision to hunt. I use thermal. I use thermal spotters and thermal scopes on my rifles. Night vision's cool to like play G.I. Joe, but like when it comes to hunting, thermal's superior. And anyone who argues with you, they actually probably don't hunt that much. They probably play on the range and play G.I. Joe, but they don't hunt animals. The target ID and engagement with thermal is superior. It's superior. I don't even want to, like, there's no argument for that. Everyone I know that hunts at night and me agrees. Like, if you want to discuss it, tech@pewscience.com, frankly. You can just email me and we'll talk about it. But if you know something I don't, please, by all means, tell me. But thermal is where it's at. So does it matter? Does the flash matter when you're using thermal? Not really. Because you're going to be looking through that thermal scope and your night vision is already lost in the eye you're using. What I try to do when I hunt at night is I keep one eye night blind, like my right eye, my dominant eye, I keep it night blind. And that's because I'm using a thermal scope which has a computer screen that you're looking at. I have used filters on the back of my thermal scope, like a red Wilcox. Like I don't know, it's like a PVS 14. It's a night vision filter, but I've put it on thermal to use that. I have used it. Does it help? A little bit, but don't get it twisted. It's still going to ruin your night vision. When I say ruin your night vision, I mean it's going to make your pupil contract, and it's going to your iris contract, and your pupil's going to be so small that you won't be able to get enough light to your retina. And then, that's why, like, you want to use red light because it's not going to do that to your eyes. That's why, anyway, I'm getting off track here. What I'm trying to say is, like, you may not care about flash that much if people aren't shooting at you. You don't care if your position is revealed, and you don't care if you're night blind because you're already using, like, equipment. You know what I mean? Like flash at night is only a big deal when it's a big deal. And I think like a lot of like folks like to do this thing where they play like their G.I. Joe, which is cool, dude. Play G.I. Joe. Like nothing against playing G.I. Joe. It's just flash only matters when it matters. If you're throwing a huge fireball out at night when you shoot, that's a problem. Okay, a short barrel 308 with a rugged razor, you're throwing a fireball. A short barrel 308 with a Sandman K, your fireball is even bigger. Okay, the less baffles you have with a bigger orifice, the bigger the fireball. This is just mass flow rate and a lack of flash hider technology. Okay, so that's like, it can be bad, but I do want to quantify it because when flash is small, it's awesome. Now, with regard to like someone seeing you and shooting at you, well, that's going to require a level of flash suppression that maybe you need to pay a really close attention to. So, for those people, if I test flash, people are going to want to know, because people that look at I can tell you right now, there's a lot of consumers listening to this that look at sound data and they go to PEW Science for sound data, but not only that, there's military and law enforcement that go to my data too for sound data. A lot of military and LEO. Overseas, domestic, and like LEO here in the United States, like FBI and SWAT, a lot of them. Even some local departments. So these guys are wanting to suppress flash for a different reason than Joe Blow on the range is. So like, I take it seriously, and I want to make sure that if I do it, it's done right. So it's something that I'm really wanting to tackle in the future. I want to do it just as good, if not better, than the government labs. And I want to make sure the data gets to everyone. And I've done it with sound already. The best sound data in the world is on pewscience.com, like full stop. The government labs aren't even close. They're not even close on the sound data. They're not. I mean, they have the tools to do it. They're just not doing it. So don't get it twisted. That's very important to say. Like, the government labs can absolutely do what I'm doing. Okay? They can absolutely do it. Are they doing it? No. Will they do it? No. Of course they won't. They don't care. Maybe they will care, and then they'll say, oh, it was our idea. I'm like, well, it kind of was your idea, but you never followed through. I mean, yeah, they can, isn't that weird? How like people are like, yeah, we're going to do this. And like no one does it for like decades. And they're like, you should do this. And they're like, you know what I mean? Isn't that weird? Anyway, I hope that answers your question, sir, man. That's a good question. I would say, flash with the second being accuracy. I'd say if I get to either one of those, flash is going to be first, just because I think it's better to do it's better for me to do just for the reasons I listed. Accuracy, I think you have several resources. So good question. Thank you for asking that. Okay, let's go to the next question here. Question 97, sub-question 26. What are your top 3 home-cooked, restaurant-cooked, and adult beverages? That's a good question. Thank you for asking that, sir or ma'am. I'm going to go ahead and guess you meant food in the first part of the question, like the top 3 home-cooked and restaurant-cooked. That must be food. And then the second part of your question, adult beverages, that's beverages. So I'm just going to go with food first. Okay. Top 3 home cooked. Okay. My top 3 probably. Okay. First one would probably be an Italian or other Mediterranean dish. I grew up eating Mediterranean food. So anything like Italian, Arabic food, Middle Eastern food, specifically Arab food, Greek food, Northern African food is something I really like. Anything Mediterranean, anything in the Mediterranean region is like top for me, home cooked. A ribeye, slow cooked, maybe in like really low temperature, in a convection oven, and then you sear it in a hot pan with like butter and thyme and garlic, like just a medium rare, like perfect. That's something I would really love. That would be like another in my top 3. Okay. So my third top 3 would be venison, ground deer, a burger on the charcoal grill, and then like also grill asparagus on the charcoal grill, and then like douse it in butter and like salt and pepper. Well, you would do that before you grill it, but yeah, I think those would be my top 3 home cooked that I usually do, actually. Yeah, I mean, I actually really love food, but those are the first 3 that came to mind. Actually, you know what? My woman and I, we just last night we made a venison lasagna. How's that for combining Mediterranean food and wild game? Yeah, we made a venison lasagna. That was amazing. It was to die for, as they say. Yes, quiet. No, top 3 restaurant cooked. There's some tacos I get at a local Mexican place. And these are not street taco. Like, this is tacos. Like, these are actually pretty fancy. It's the place. It's not a Tex-Mex place. It's actual Mexican food. The tacos have, they have ribeye on them. Yeah, they do. Yeah, ribeye. I'm trying to remember what's on these tacos because they're just some of my favorite tacos ever. I think it's beef ribeye, and it's on a corn tortilla. And there's like, they usually serve them in 3s, and then they do something special, man. They got a big bone on the plate. It used to be served on this big wooden platter, and the bone has exposed bone marrow in it, and you can scrape the marrow out and put it onto the tacos. And then there's like fresh guacamole and onions, wonderful salsas. Oh man, some verde salsa, and they have some other different peppers they use. It's just amazing. Mexican food is actually like something I really enjoy a lot. And I don't have a lot of expertise preparing it, but I know what I like, and I know when I see it. So that's the first, the rest, like some really good Mexican food. The second has to be some kind of steak at a nice steakhouse, like a good ribeye, man. A good ribeye steak is gonna it'll make you holler at the moon, man. It'll you get your woo. You're like, yes, this is amazing. Like, there's nothing like it. It's a good ribeye at a nice steakhouse. It'll just, I don't know. I don't know how you couldn't like that. And then lastly, top three restaurant cooked. I'd have to say barbecue, like some good barbecue. I've been all over the country. I've eaten barbecue everywhere. 2 locations I think for barbecue that are the best would be Central Texas and Alabama. Those are my 2. And there's lots of people from Kansas City getting mad right now. And there's some people from North Carolina getting mad right now. And I understand that. Believe me, I understand how passionate you're going to be about your food. I am not going to argue with you, but I am going to say, for me, Central Texas and Alabama. There's a place in Alabama called Dreamland Ribs. Specifically, there's 2. There's one in Mobile. There's one in Tuscaloosa. In Tuscaloosa, Dreamland Ribs. You see the billboards. Ribs so good, they'll make you want to slap your mama. That's what it says, and it's true. It's true. They don't lie at Dreamland Ribs. No, sir. Boy, howdy. You will punch your mom in the face. Don't punch your mom. Don't do that. Adult beverages. That was your next part of your question, sir, ma'am. I'm going to assume sir because I'm taken, okay? No, adult beverages. Gosh. Right now, whiskey-wise, I'm going to say Monkey Shoulder. It's actually a blended single malt. Scotch, is that a blended? No, whiskey. I don't know what the difference. I used to know. I'm not a liquor snob. Okay. I just know what I like. I was at the liquor store. I was looking for this specific Japanese whiskey that, my girl and I really like. We like, Hibiki Harmony, and they were out of it. It was like maybe last year we were at the liquor store looking for it. And there was a guy and I was like, man, they don't have any Hibiki Harmony. And he was like, what are you looking for? And I told him, he's like, dude, have you ever had Monkey Shoulder? And I was like, no, I haven't. And then she was like, dude, get Monkey Shoulder. Trust me. And when someone does that, I looked at him. I was like, I like the cut of your jib, sir. So I got the Monkey Shoulder. I trusted him. He seemed like a solid dude, stranger at the liquor store. And seemed like a solid dude. He was, though. It's incredible. It's incredible blend, and I think it's a single malt blend. I could be butchering that. You whiskey and bourbon purists are probably yelling, but that's okay. You can teach me. I teach you about silencer sound. You teach me about whiskey. It's incredible. Now, wine-wise, let's talk about wine. It's got to be a red wine, first of all. I'm a red wine guy. If I have my druthers, it's going to be a Malbec, a Chianti, or maybe a Cabernet, or like a Cabernet blend, like a red blend. Those are like my 3 go-tos, okay? So that's pretty easy. There's a lot of great ones. If you're going for a Malbec, I urge you to go for something from Argentina. You shouldn't be spending a lot. You should not be spending a lot of money on it, okay? You should be able to get a great Malbec for pretty cheap. Now, beer. Let's talk beer. Never IPAs. That's not beer. Okay, that's hipster stuff. That's hipster stuff. Don't miss me with the IPA stuff. I don't know who thought IPAs are cool. There's a lot of this IPA stuff proliferating in the firearms community, and frankly, I'm disappointed in you. Okay? I like a good Ziegenbock, a Shiner, a Spaten, maybe a good German beer. St. Arnold is a wonderful brewery out of Houston that has very good beer. You know, I'll do a light Pilsner. I'll do a Pilsner. If I'm looking for something refreshing, you know what I'll do? I'll take a wonderful Mexican beer is what I'll do. I'll take a Corona with a lime. I'll take a Dos Equis. Dos Equis dressed with lime and salt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Miss me with that IPA stuff, bruh. Beer shouldn't have that many hops. It's not right. It doesn't make sense. It's just not right. I don't know. If you have a problem, if you feel strongly that I should be looking harder at IPAs, that's fine. I respect your opinion, but I just don't think that beer is something that has to be super hoppy. I can tolerate it, but I don't think it's necessary. And I think they're doing it to be different. And sometimes you just don't need to do that, because that's not the intent of the beer. Beer's not supposed to have too many hops. It's not balanced. I think they're trying too hard, and I think they want to be different, and they want to make their beer cans have cool colors and pictures on them. I think it's marketing, and I think it's a hipster thing. And yeah, I kind of shy away from that, frankly. So I hope you respect my opinion. Good day, sir or ma'am. Yeah, that's funny. Let's do a couple more. How are we doing on time? Oh, yeah, we're great. Okay, let's do more. Question 98, sub-question 27. How effective is a blast diverter? Example, Whit machine SME. Potentially like a loud silencer? Whit machine SME. You know what? You're going to have to forgive me. I've never seen that. I'm opening a browser window. I'm gonna Google it right now. Real time. Whit machine SME. Okay. Google autocomplete caught that. Oh, I spelled wit wrong, but it don't care. All right. Sound mitigation equipment. Okay. I'm not talking mess, but okay. Let's read the description for you folks so we can make sure to do it justice. I'm scrolling down. Sound mitigation equipment, slimline. I'm just going to click on that. Non-class 3. Okay, so not a non-NFA item. Okay, there's 3 of them they offer. They're all $175. Okay, whatever. There's a slimline, a lightweight, and there's a normal one. I'm just going to click on the normal one. Okay. I'm going to read you the description because frankly, sir or ma'am, I've never seen this. I want to make sure people listening to the podcast hear what this is. Okay, I'm going to read this is the actual description from the website. The SME is a highly effective linear comp/blast can. So what that means is compensator / blast diverter can, which I guess is a cylinder. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me just start again. The SME is a highly effective linear comp/blast can that allows for excellent shot-to-shot recovery and incorporates an external shroud that reduces lateral auditory reports. The brake itself is machined from a single piece of 4/16 stainless and is tuned for efficiency without unnecessary weight. The 3-port design keeps the brake short while allowing for an extremely high level of efficiency. The outer shroud of the SME slimline is made of the same rugged 4/16 stainless that the brake is milled from, or aircraft aluminum. It says rugged 4/16 stainless. Oh, this must be a typo. They're probably copying and pasting. Okay. So is it aluminum or is it steel? It's got to be steel. You can't put aluminum. Okay, so they meant... Oh, I'm sorry. No, you know what? Do they have a selection where you can change the material? No, they don't. Okay, let me read that sentence again. The outer shroud of the SME slim... Oh, and this is the slimline description, and I'm on the normal... Okay, well, it's okay. Maybe their website just isn't up to date. Maybe they have some typos. We'll keep going. When the unit is assembled, it allows for complete control of dynamic recoil forces while keeping the pressure wave from the shot downrange. This allows for maximum recoil control and a hearing-safe environment for your teammates or fellow shooters on the firing line. Okay, I'm gonna be nice. Okay, I'm gonna be nice. Let me kind of tell you about how effective. Okay. Let me answer. Okay, you know what? Having read that, I'm gonna directly answer your question. Your question is, how effective is a blast diverter? And you gave the example of this Whit machine SME. And the second part of your question, sir or ma'am, was potentially like a loud silencer. So that's what you're asking. So my answer is, it's not as effective as you think. It's not nearly as effective as you think, actually. The muzzle blast, the way this works is the muzzle blast is directed out of the diverter. That's true. But as soon as it quickly expands spherically into 3D space because it's a pressure wave. It's a spherical expansion. It's like a bubble, actually. It is a bubble, and it envelops your head. It envelops you and your head. It's reflecting off of all surfaces that it comes in contact with. It's a 3D spherical expansion in space. This is a true blast wave phenomena. Okay, I have tested some actually. Some that I've tested have actually made the sound worse at the shooter's ear. They've made it worse, and so much so that it would actually peg the scale, the suppression rating at the bottom. Like it's nonsensical the results you get because it's so bad. It's so bad. The negative phase can sometimes be incredibly wild to the point where it's not healthy to use them at all, especially without the hearing protection. I'm not interested in using these, and neither should you be, actually. There are some that work better than a bare muzzle. There are some, but in my opinion, if you have the option for a silencer, use a silencer, dude. If you don't, like, wear hearing protection for sure, bro. Like, and do not compromise on that. Do not. Silencers are PPE, personal protective equipment, just like hearing protection. Don't let folks tell you it's okay to not use them with unsuppressed weapons. You need to use hearing protection with unsuppressed weapons. Okay, it is horrible not to use hearing protection with unsuppressed weapons. It can lead to irreversible hearing damage. Never, ever take your ears off when you're shooting unsuppressed guns, unless you have to in a self-defense situation and you need to shoot to stop a threat and you getting some hearing damage is okay. Because you'll be alive. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, sir, how effective is the blast divert? It depends. This Wit Machine one might be better than a bare muzzle just because of the weight. Like, it might be. Guys, I don't know. I haven't tested it. I've tested some, and they're worse. This one, actually, just looking at it, it might not be worse. It might be a little bit better than a bare muzzle. It's not going to be like a loud silencer, though. A silencer is going to be so much quieter. In fact, if this behaves like a silencer, it would be a silencer, and the ATF would regulate it. Okay, so that should tell you something. Maybe they don't, and that's one of the reasons why some companies don't want me to test these. But as far as what they say in the ad here, not the ad, but the website description, when he says, what does he say? He said something that I thought it actually bears clarification. He says when the unit is assembled, it allows for complete control of dynamic recoil forces. Okay, first of all, when it's assembled, it's no longer a muzzle brake. So I don't know about that. And then he says, while keeping the pressure wave from the shot downrange. That's not true. It most certainly does not keep the pressure wave downrange. When the sound pressure emanates from the end of this thing, it's going to propagate as a bubble in 3D space, and it's going to come back at you. It's going to wrap around you. It's going to hit your face. Okay, silencers do the same thing. It was less. Why do you think you have sound at the shooter's ear? Do you think it's like going down range and reflecting? No, dude, it's coming out of the freaking end of the silencer. And it's coming backward. Why? 3D expansion. Sound doesn't go in one direction from a gun, guys. It goes in all directions. That's how sound works. So it's an explosion. Come on, man. You guys know this. You do. You know this, and now you know it better. Okay, I'm closing that window. Cool. No, good question. A lot of people have asked me that, so that's a great question, actually. Okay. Let's do a couple more. How are we doing on time now? Oh yeah, we're perfect on time. All right. Question 99, sub-question 28. Thoughts on 8.6 blackout sound and lethality performance compared to 300 blackout subsonic? Oh, that's a good question. Let me get some water. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that 8.6 is going to be more lethal than 300 blackout, all other things equal, just because it's bigger. That's like a really lazy answer. So I'm going to go more. Let me go more into this so like people who don't even know what 8.6 blackout is can know about it. Okay. The 8.6 blackout cartridge is something very new. There's a company called Q. They've been working on it, and specifically Ethan Lassard, the head of Q's engineering team, is working on it. Okay, so this is Ethan's thing. He's a pretty good general small arms engineer. Okay, he's not. He does have some specialties, I think, but in general, he has a varied skill set. Okay. So I'm sure he's doing a great job developing the cartridge. I really am. I think that when you're limited to the sound, speed, and air, you have to use other mechanisms to increase lethality. Okay, because your question, sir, ma'am, is on lethality and performance. So lethality performance. So let's talk about that, okay? I think like I said, when you're limited to the speed, if you want to be subsonic, right? So you're constraining that variable. So what other knobs can you turn in the lethality equation? Well, you have to use other mechanisms to increase lethality. Excuse me. And that's what Ethan did with 300 blackout. And that's what he's gonna do with 8.6 blackout. The two mechanisms that you can take advantage of to increase lethality are momentum and energy transfer. And I know that sounds weird, but just hear me out, okay? You increase momentum by increasing the mass of the projectile for a given velocity limit, right? Because what is momentum? Do you know that it's going to be the mass times the velocity? Okay, so if you keep velocity constant and pegged at 1,100 feet per second or whatever it is at sound speed and air at your elevation and temperature, whatever it is, 1,100 feet per second, if you keep the velocity that, well, how are you going to make m times v go up? Well, you got to increase m. That's momentum. Okay, well, it's actually, depending on what, this probably would be p. It depends if you're a physicist or not. So anyway, you increase the mass. That's one mechanism. Now the energy transfer part, how do you increase that? Well, one way, it's actually a very clever way. You do it by imparting a faster rotational velocity to the projectile. When you do that, you are basically what you're doing. When you spin it faster, you're using more of the combustion energy to do work, or rather, you're doing more work with the combustion energy. You have a given amount of combustion energy, bro. You have a case cartridge with a certain amount of propellant in it. There's a certain energy that it's finite. Okay, you're not going to increase it. You're not going to destroy it. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but you can utilize it differently. So, therefore, if you spin it more, you're doing more work with the combustion energy you have available. So, what do those two mechanisms, increased momentum and different energy transfer with a faster spinning object, what do those do terminally? Okay, what do they do terminally? Terminally, when I say terminal, in ballistics, like terminal ballistics is like the study of what happens when the projectile hits what you're shooting at. Like not when it's flying through the air. Terminal means at the end state. Okay, at impact. So terminally, increased momentum increases penetration. Okay, that's physics. Also, increased rotational velocity results in increased rotational momentum. So that results in different momentum transfer mechanisms. So the rotation must move through tissue, for example. Okay, that's going to cause damage that otherwise not occur. It's complex in tissue, but empirically validated, and that's important. Okay, this is validated with gel block tests. And to my knowledge, from what I've heard, it's been validated by killing live animals. And frankly, hunters have known about fast twist being more lethal for decades. This isn't a Q thing. This isn't a 300 blackout and 8.6 blackout thing. I mean, they're pioneering the use of super fast twists for these rifles, but hunters have known for quite some time that faster twists are more lethal. We know this. With supersonic, I mean, we know this for decades. When you get new bullet designs like you do with 300 blackout and 8.6, you get that monolithic stuff that can hold together under very fast rotational velocity. So, and that means you can spin it fast, bruh. You can spin it so fast, like ludicrous speeds. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what the future holds. So that's what I think. I'm a little surprised we don't use super fast twist 5.56 supersonic with like solid copper and like steel penetrators to do crazy stuff. Like that's what I would want to do. It would be cool to develop things like that. But I guess 300 blackout is cooler because of how heavy you can make the bullets. And then you can make them subsonic too. Man, but you know what? With silencers like the CGS Hyperion stuff or like the Nomad stuff, really good supersonic silencers, I'm actually intrigued by the idea of super fast twist supersonic ammo. I am. Like, that's why when fast twist 8.6 blackout stuff, like in supersonic loads, is used, and we see how quiet that can get, that might be the coolest hunting cartridge ever. I'm thinking that's what, like, everyone's really excited about subsonic 8.6. I'm excited about supersonic 8.6 personally because of the fast twist. Imagine a 12-inch barrel with a CGS Hecate and like supersonic huge heavy ammo spinning fast. Like spinning ultra fast and moving ultra fast. Like, that is ridiculous. It's ludicrous. Like, we'll see how the Q silencers might be good. I don't know. No one shot them that I know. Like the Q stuff, their 338 silencers, the pork chop or whatever it's called, hasn't come out yet. It's gonna be super awesome to test it. I don't know what's gonna be quieter. I don't know is the CGS Hecate gonna be quieter, or is like the pork chop gonna be quieter? Is it gonna be a wash on 8.6 sub or super, or is it going to be different? I don't know. I know that people that I have a Hecate, or Hecate. I'm going to pronounce it right one of these days. But I tell you what, I got one of those thingies, and I got a freaking 338 Lapua Magnum tested on. So we'll test the pork chop on that too. See what that does with like high pressure, and that'll be indicative of its performance on 8.6 super. Obviously, right? It'll scale. I mean, it won't scale exactly. But it'll scale, I promise. So yeah, I mean, we'll exercise them to high pressure and see what happens. But we have options. We have options for this 338. 8.6 millimeter is like 338 caliber, or I'm sorry, 33.8 caliber, because you have to take the decimal and move it because the caliber is in front of the tenth, so it's like 0.338. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So 8.6 millimeter. Yeah. So your question was, sorry to get off topic. Your question was thoughts on 8.6 blackout sound and lethality performance compared to 300 blackout subsonic. Well, clearly, if you look at the two mechanisms we just talked about, what were the two mechanisms I talked about for subsonic lethality? I talked about we have velocity staying constant, so you have to increase momentum by increasing mass, and you have to increase energy transfer by increasing rotational velocity. So what does that mean? Well, 300 blackout doesn't weigh as much as the 8.6, so it's less lethal because it has less momentum and it has less energy transfer because it also has a smaller diameter. So the rotational velocity isn't as meaningful at the tangent, which would be the external, the velocity tangent to the exterior edge of the bullet is actually so high in 8.6 because it's a larger diameter that I'm excited to kill something with that, with super 8.6 supersonic. Because it fits in a 308 gun, right? See, that's the cool part. Like 338 Lapua Magnum can't fit in like an AR-10, but a freaking 8.6 super can. So if I can have I saw Kevin was shooting a Noveski 8.6 guns, like an AR basically. Bro, sign me up, bro. That's a pig gun. Because I hunt with pigs with an AR-308. I will shoot. With a 16-inch pencil barrel, I will shoot 12-inch 8.6 supers at pigs all day long, like Donkey Kong, baby. Fast twist, yes, give it to me. Give it to me. That's a pig gun. That's what I want. He said, oh, it's heavy, but I bet you it's more comfortable to shoot that gun. I bet you. Don't make it light, dude. I don't want a light gas gun. I want a gas gun that I can it can be light, but don't make it fixed light. It's too light. For hunting, you want it to, for semi-auto, you want it to be a little heavier, and you want the buffer to be good gravy, so you can put a nice like LMT carrier in it because I know LMT makes a 308 enhanced carrier delay unlock. Do that too. That's what I would do. Then 8.6 barrel fast twist 12-inch. Yeah, baby, woo. That's what I want. I'll put Hecate on there. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, how are we doing on time? Okay, let's do one. Okay, this is a great question to end on. Question 100. We have more, but we're going to end on this one today. Question 100, sub-question 29. Would you suggest going to college now with the price of college? I'm sorry, I read that weird. Let me read that again. Would you suggest going to college now with the price of college? Oh, okay. Before I go on, hey, thank you for that question on 8.6 blackout lethality performance compared with Subsonic 300 blackout? Thank you for that. It's an excellent question. I bet a lot of people are thinking about it. So thank you for asking that. So this next question, would you suggest going to college now with the price of college? Man, you guys with your non-science questions today. I'm flattered that you trust me enough to ask me questions about your life. And I'm serious. That's like really, that means a lot. Thanks for the question, man, sir or ma'am. My answer is yes. Absolutely, I suggest going to college, but only if you think you want to do something that requires a degree. Like if all you want to do is like be a welder or something, which is a great career, or if you like want to do another trade, like I don't know. I mean, there's still masons out there and stuff. Like you want to lay bricks, there's all kinds of different stuff you can do as in trade school. Like you don't have to go necessarily to get to a university. If all you want to do is that stuff, and that really interests you, and that's like your passion, a trade school would probably be a better choice than a 4-year degree or a graduate degree after that. But if you want to learn something, like or get qualified to do something in a field that requires a college education, you must get a college degree. It's not up to me or you. That's the industry. Okay, like many people will argue that that it's not required. But those people are not speaking with actual knowledge of the fields of interest, okay? Necessarily. Sometimes they are, but a lot of times they don't know what they're talking about, dude. Okay, like for example, to do what I do, like in my day job, like there's no way it would be possible without a college degree. It's not possible. Like like logistically, it's not possible. Like for one, we don't hire engineers without college degrees. Because there's no such thing. Like you can't be an engineer without a degree. You just can't. That's not how this works. Like in most states, actually, it's illegal. It's illegal to even use the title engineer. Without being licensed after college, because it's a professional designation. Like I don't know. I've seen people use Utah, for example. Utah has a lot of like silencer companies in it. I've seen people use the title engineer in those silencer companies. Some of them are not engineers. Utah, I don't know. It's weird. You know what? I should really know because I'm actually licensed in Utah. That's one of the many states I'm licensed to practice engineering in. So I should probably know if it's okay to call yourself an engineer there without, because that's probably going to be in their board standards. Because like in my home state, it's in the standards. Like you can't put engineer on your business card unless you're licensed. And I don't, in Utah, it must not be like that. It's interesting. I just realized that because like I know, there's a lot of people in Utah that say they're engineers and they're not. But I'm an engineer in Utah. I'm licensed in that state. So silencer companies, if you're listening and you need engineering, like I'm actually licensed in your state. But yeah, it's because it's a professional designation, right? Professional designations are licensed positions, right? They're charged with public service or like protecting the public, right? Like medicine or law or engineering, like architecture, right? Like if you want to go into anything like that, all those things I just mentioned, like you got to go to college for that. Like it's not important just to learn stuff, dude. You think that's the only reason why you go to college? No, son. It's actually important to prove you can exercise the rigor to work hard enough to get through it, dude. You don't want lazy people practicing medicine or engineering. Like you don't want that, dude. Like some get through, some are going to get through. Trust me, I've seen it, but not a lot overall. And like what happens when you have substandard professionals? What happens? We get substandard practice, bro. What happens to the public when that happens? Well, the doctors kill people. Yeah, the buildings fall down. You saw that, right? I don't know if you've seen that lately. Have you seen that? Was that the engineer's fault that the condo in Miami fell? Or was it the people who didn't listen to the engineer? That's a good question. We'll see. Investigation hasn't really... They're still trying to find the dead people. It's horrible. But we'll see. We'll see what the investigation shows. The engineers will investigate. We'll see. So yeah, that's a couple examples why college is good. College is important. Now, not all colleges are good. This is something I should probably tell you if you're asking about this. Not all colleges are good. Some colleges really suck. Actually, if you're looking to go to college for a certain field, you should research which ones are really good for the field. Understand? I am serious about this, and a lot of people don't tell you this. This is important. You don't necessarily have to go to a top 10 or top 5 school. Not everyone's going to be able to get into one, and not everyone's going to be cut out for that. And that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Okay, going to college is a big accomplishment. I'm not trying to be elitist here. So I'm not saying you have to go to a top 5 or you have to go to a top 10 for your field, but you also don't want to go to one that accepts everybody like necessarily, right? You don't want to go to one of those 95% acceptance rate colleges. Trust me. Because, guys, unless you can't get into any other one, because the degree, you're going to be spending money and the degree is going to mean less. Unless it's just a really good school, for a fact, and it's just easy to get into, and people don't know about it, and it's whatever. I mean, I've met some great professors at community colleges. I'm not trying to say crappy things about those people. They could be really great and really knowledgeable. I mean, that's true. That's for sure. And there's a lot of people with no college degrees that are really intelligent. Okay, I don't want this to sound elitist, but what I'm saying is, if you're serious about your field and you want to excel, you want to get a top position, you want to be awesome and just wreck shop, don't get your degree from the side of a cereal box. All right? Like I said, unless the degree is a formality, just to get the foot in the door or something, and the degree is easy no matter what. I mean, in that case, it's probably fine. Get your cereal box degree. But I can tell you, man, a quality education it is still worth something in this country. In this world, it is worth something. I can tell you that in my day job, we don't even look at engineers unless they graduate from certain universities, and have a minimum of a master's degree. We don't even look at you, because we have other candidates that we're more comfortable with. We don't want to risk it. Okay, when I interview, I'm looking at transcripts. I'll look at your individual grades in certain courses, and I'll see if I see something that concerns me, I'll speak with you about it during the interview. All right? In depth, bro. I care. I care for a reason, because I've seen what happens when you work with folks that don't have solid chops. All right? Grades don't tell everything, but they tell a lot. They do. And sometimes grades early on in a college education, when you're just starting out, maybe they're not that good, because you're still getting your feet wet, you're figuring out college. I get that. It happens to everybody. Other times, your grades are bad for a reason that's more systemic, and that's a sign that you're going to be unreliable. You're going to be an unreliable employee, and you don't work hard, and you don't have the chops. And that's reality. All right, that's how it is. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. Okay, this isn't Jay's just being elitist. Nah, dude. This is something that occurs across professional disciplines worldwide. So this isn't me talking. This is the world talking. So that's a reality check for you. All right, so in summary, to answer your question, if you need to go to college, go. And take it seriously. And if you don't need to go, then don't go. That's fine. Shoot me an email at tech@pewscience.com. We'll talk about it if you like. I will be happy to give you I'll give you career advice for sure, dude. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. Be happy to help. Okay. Thank you for the question. That was a great question. You know what? I bet you a lot of young folks that want to get into the firearms industry are learning about this. You know what my advice would be? And I'm not even really in the firearms industry per se. I would say, if you want to get into the firearms industry, but you want to make a really big difference, and you think you want to be a technical guy, I'd say start somewhere else and then go in the firearms industry. The firearms industry is not very professional. So if you maybe you start somewhere and you get your chops under your belt, and then I don't know, or maybe not. Maybe that's not the best way. Maybe you get to be first in your class somewhere, and then you go to a really big firearms company and you learn from the engineers there. Maybe you go study abroad and you go to HK and learn German. That might be actually a good idea. I mean, I say that in jest, but that actually might be a good idea. Okay. Get out of the United States. Go to HK. Okay, I'm going to close this. Okay, that was great. What a great group of questions. Man, I love doing that. It's awesome. Okay. All right. Oh, we're about an hour and 14. Oh, we're doing pretty good on time. Yeah. How many topics do I have left? Oh, we're going to go pretty quick. Okay, let's go in it. Where's my pen? Topic 3 at a time of 1 hour. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 55 seconds. Okay, topic 3. Yeah, some simple gear for field work down south. Yeah. Always needed? No, but sometimes it is. And the photo I'm going to post with this episode is kind of weird. What do you see in this photo? You see my machine gun. It's my poverty pody with it's that great Form 2 gun I have. The 11.5-inch mid-length upper. I love that gun. CGS Helios QD TI direct thread that lives on the gun basically. EOTech EXPS3-2. That means that it has 2 dots in the circle. It's the ring. It's the ring, right? And it has 2 dots to compensate for drop on the fly if you need to. It's cool. And if you're into that, you don't have to be. And then handheld thermal and spare mags. Why am I using this picture? Well, it's because I'm like, when I was prepping to record the podcast, I'm also getting my gear together for my activities this week, and I'm going to be working in a location in which I feel much more comfortable when I have my rifle. And so, yeah, I carry a handgun there, and I prefer to have a rifle nearby. And I'm not an expert in this really, but I do know that a rifle is certainly better for stopping things when you need to stop them. It's my philosophy, and it's unfortunate. Actually, it's unfortunate we need to worry about things like this. I don't really want to get into a lot of details about this because of OPSEC in general, but just there's places we go that for work, and sometimes I carry my rifle with me. I do prefer the EOTech on the rifle compared with an aim point, and I think it's my eyes. I do, and I've used it. I've used an aim point T1 for over a decade, longer than that. And I have an aim point T2 on that Mark 18 I showed you. But this EOTech, I like it. I have astigmatism in my right eye. I wear a toric contact lens to help. I mean, it makes me be able to see just fine. But the dot in the endpoint, I don't know what it is. It just starbursts, and I don't like the way it looks. I feel like it works, like I can aim with it, but it just doesn't feel precise to me. And I don't know if it's just like what I'm comfortable with or not, but it's just not as clean. The EOTech just looks better. It just with when I have my corrective lenses in, the EOTech just looks so clean. And I feel like I can get on target faster with it. I like the ring. I love using it with a machine gun in full auto. I like the way the reticle feels. I don't know how to explain that. I like the way it feels. Like to me, I don't know. I like it. When I shoot with it, it's like I feel like it's easier for me to aim and with a fine dot. I like that. I'm sure it's heavier than the aim point. It's bigger than the aim point, but it's bigger than the aim point T2, obviously. But man, I think it's worth it to me. I do like it. Is the battery life good? No, it's an EOTech, but that's why you change your battery. So I don't sweat that. Like I don't care. I don't leave it on. Like it's so easy to turn it on. Like what? So yeah. Also in the photo is my Pulsar Helion XP50s, first gen, old school, not old school, but a few years old now. It's a thermal spotter. It's handheld. It has optical zoom. It's amazing. No, I'm sorry. It has optical focus. I misspoke. That's not true. Thermals don't have optical zoom. That's very expensive. They're germanium glass. No, it has digital zoom, but it has optical focus. Like I can actually focus the manual focus with the ring. That's important. Not all thermals have that. It's amazing. You may be asking yourself, Jay, or why do you keep a thermal spotter with you? When your rifle has a day optic that's not even magnified, like what are you even doing? Okay, well the thermal spotter works day or night. Okay, and when I'm in brush country, I can spot stuff 1,000 yards away. it's important to know what's around you. And trust me, like I do have a night kit. I don't take it out. Like I take it out sometimes, and I don't show that on social media. Okay, it's actually none of your business. I don't go out without my thermal. I use it that much, and I like using my Pulsar thermals. I do. I've used them to kill a lot of things, and I'm pretty comfortable using them to spot stuff. Definitely a lot of practice with them. I'm really good at it. I'm really good with them. I am. I'm very comfortable with them. I'm really good with them. I know what I'm doing with them. I can definitely spot stuff really quick. I know what I'm looking for through thermal. I can identify stuff really well with it. I know the terrain. I'm good with it. I have field use with it. So like it's comfortable to me to use them. A lot of practice with them. Killed things. Now, lastly, the little noise canceling earbuds there. The Sony WF 1000 XM4s. Yeah, they're Bluetooth. The noise canceling. Someone asked me. I posted them on social media because I was just so psyched that I got them. I used to have the XM3 versions. These just came out. Someone asked me if they were okay for shooting, like to use as hearing protection. They do seal okay, but I'm not sure they protect your ears very well. But I'm gonna bring them with me, and I was actually gonna do a quick test. The gun in the photo is pretty quiet, all things considered. It's a 5.56 machine gun. It can only be so quiet, but it's not a 22. But like it has a CGS Helios on it, guys. I mean, you have alien gravity reactors in that. Like, come on, man. That silencer doesn't even make sense, dude. That's a titanium one, bro. Like that's such a cool silencer. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. I wanted to show you guys a photo of actual gear that I actually use. Okay, I did, and it's I have a pretty large inventory for PEW Science for testing purposes, and they're just some things that keep showing up in the gear I actually use. And I take pictures of those things a lot because I like them. I mean, it's just kind of how it is. It's like you're going to see some pictures from me sometimes, and, sometimes it's maybe get old to you. But frankly, I'm going to show you what I like. I like posting stuff I like. Plus, guns are pretty, and frankly, the KC mid-length free float rail adapter system on that gun is one of the sexiest things I've ever seen in my life, and it's the Voltor MUR. Oh man, the upper's just fantastic, just fantastic. Okay, topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 39 seconds. Okay, welcome to all the new PEW Science members, family. Welcome to the new PEW Science clients, the grassroots support from the consumers, the companies, the dealers, the professional support from the clientele, the professional clientele. True industry advancement. It's on the right track. I do think it is. I actually can't mention, well, it's not that I can't mention, but it's more like I won't mention PEW Science clients unless the data is released. I don't mention PEW Science clients. I mention people that are publicly supporting PEW Science on the website. With memberships, I don't mention private testing clients until unless they elect to release their test data. There's no reason, dude. I don't want to create a situation in which someone is expecting some kind of data and it never comes for whatever reason, because what that's going to do. That's going to lead to speculation, and I'm not into that. I don't like politics like that. I only let people know if contracted work is happening, if it's going to be released. Okay, some of you ask me, some of you DM me, is like, oh, I heard that you're testing, da-da-da. And when I see a message like that, you know what I think to myself? Oh, the reason you've heard that is because the company told you. Because I didn't tell you, and I didn't tell anybody else. No one else knows that a test program is going on unless the company told someone. Because I don't say it. Some people may think I say it, but I don't. I might say someone's supporting PEW Science. Well, that's on the website. Whether or not we have testing scheduled, well, that's if the company wants you to know, well, that's their decision. I wouldn't advise you to talk about you having testing with me until the results are out and ready to be out. I don't know why you would announce your internal business practices to the world. That's probably not smart, but that's my philosophy. I mean, it's not my decision to, they can say whatever they want, but I keep it confidential. So I'm not going to mention the new clients by name, but there are several. I've been testing for folks, and not only do I thank them for their support, I'm excited to help them with their R&D. I think it's awesome, dude. It's very exciting. It is true industry advancement when you think about it. People are using the data. Some companies, you know what's really crazy, and you'll see this in the future. I can't tell you who, but some companies are actively making products with direct influence from PEW Science analysis and data. Like, it's already working. We're a year and a half in. We're not even 2 years in, and people are using PEW Science data to make silencers better. Remember when I told you that was one of my goals? It's happening, bro. It's happening. And you know what? Some are even making some stuff with a little suggestion old Jay throws in here and there. Hey, Jay says, hey, what if you did this? And then the company says, well, like this? And I'm like, oh, dude. Yeah, just like that. That's crazy. Yeah, that's industry innovation, man. It's crazy. So I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank the clients and everyone who's joined PEW Science with a membership to support the effort. Everyone who has joined has gotten an email from me as of today. No, that's not true. I think a couple of people joined today. I didn't. Oh man, I'm behind again. I will get to you. If you haven't heard from me, and you didn't join like today or like, well, since you're hearing this, when you hear it, you should have a response from me. So yeah, I'll stick to the statement. If you haven't heard from me when you hear this message, when you hear this recording, ping me. Ask me what the heck's going on, man. Slap me. Remind me. If I haven't emailed you, it's not because I forgot you. It's because I didn't see your membership come through for whatever reason or something. It's weird. So if you haven't got a response from me for whatever reason, social, email, smoke signal, just resend it. I think I'm caught up on all of you, so I might have missed one. Thank you so much for your support. It is incredible. And you're making it awesome. You're making it work. You're fixing the industry. You guys are. You're helping fix the industry. All of you listening. Until next time, friends, stay safe. I'm going to try to check in with you guys via social media this week. We're going to talk more about the Surefire test. I'll be sending you snippets of it so you can kind of I want you guys to look at that data, okay? Look at that Sound Signature Review 626. We'll talk about it again next time when you're ready, because I know a lot of you haven't seen it yet. Okay, so you need to review it, and we'll talk about it, okay? Okay. I'll check in with you to let you know I'm alive, but I'll be back. I promise. Okay? I'll talk with you folks again soon.